Bow.
Oh, that was good. Is that are we keeping that?
Is it
That
Super
was
Bowl? I mean, when this episode comes out.
Bow.
well, the episode technically is going to come out on Valentine's Day, so
Oh,
happy
right.
love.
Hello. Hello, everybody. Happy love.
Love is love is love is love.
Live,
Love.
laugh, love.
Mm. Do you
Mm.
know, everybody, do you know who I just saw recently? Who's a wonderful human being?
Liz Love?
Liz Love. Shout
It's
out Liz Love.
National Liz Love Day.
Yes,
Wow.
National Liz Love Day. I love her so much. Um, well, hello everybody. We're back. We're back. Let's just catch up. What has everybody been doing for the past weeks or so? In the still official Black History Month.
Right, let's not forget that.
Feel official. Well, Lauren, you first.
Oh my goodness. I mean, it's just, kind of been recovering from January and everything that was, and then starting off this new week. I just went to a candle pouring class that was by a Black owned founder. Super cute, super cute. Go out and support local Black businesses this month, because we need that, right? Right. Just put it in the community. Put it in the community. But no, just trying to find a lot of time to just be low vibrational, amongst all the craziness that's going on and trying to protect my peace.
Mm. As Michael would say, you just gotta mouth breathe sometimes.
Ooh,
Sometimes, y'all,
what?
you just got to mouth breathe.
Not sure what that means.
You know that when life gets you down,
Mm.
and maybe you've had a couple libations,
Oh.
and sometimes you just need to sit there and just go,
That's so ugly.
I'm just, I'm just saying, sometimes you just got to sit there and go,
No.
Um,
Okay.
Look, and when I tell you Michael really do that like in real life, like Michael, we were at GMA, Michael was sitting across from me, complete mouth wide open, just breathing in and out. Couldn't do nothing else.
like, this is what I look like.
Mm.
I can't share the whole thing.
Why this horse?
I just look like the horse and just look.
Yes, yes. But
What?
sometimes that's needed. Sometimes you just gotta like take a moment and just realize where you are.
Yeah.
Realize where you are. And just breathe it in and out and protect your peace, get it back centered, and move on. And move on.
Right. And I feel like this year has a lot in it. Like I feel like there's going to be a lot of stuff that happens this year. And so I'm kind of like just trying to take in as much peace time and downtime as possible because there's just something about this energy that I'm feeling that I'm like, oh, 2024 has something in it. Not sure what it is yet. We'll see.
We'll see,
But,
Chad.
you know,
You will
so
see.
take the time. If you have time right now to chillax and just calm things down, take the time. There's a reason why you have this moment to remain calm, you know? So that's it for me.
Uh, there has I literally just got off a flight last night, and now we're here from the Texas Music Educator Conference in San Antonio. Which, if you've never been to San Antonio, you have to go. It is beautiful. It is like a mixture between somewhere in Spain, Venice, with the river walk that goes in between. Um, Me and my friend, we just kind of walked on the river walk, and it was just so gorgeous. The temperature was amazing. There were so many people there. So shout out to Team EA. Y'all really got it going on out there. And it's really big. It's like really big. And also I heard some wonderful concerts. And really good music education is happening. Really, really good. That's cute. And you know what? We flew first class.
Oh, come on.
Have.
You know, it was cute. However, I didn't get a meal, and I'm kind of upset about
What?
that. I didn't get no meal. I didn't
How
get the
long
memo.
was the flight?
Did you
It
fall
was like
asleep?
2 hours and 15 minutes. Like,
Oh,
That's
no, that was a long time. And I didn't eat all day. So I was looking forward to a meal.
yeah. I don't know if it's like 3 hours or what the minimum is for them to actually serve food.
But my thing is, it's like the flight was like 6 o'clock. That's dinner time, baby. I'm hungry. I'm hungry.
What?
Y'all knew y'all could, and they gave us these little old snacks, you know.
Where are the good snacks?
Yeah, there were like some baked chips and very healthy, the kind of stuff you would get at Trader Joe's or
Yeah.
Whole Foods,
Not
those
Trader
snacks.
Joe's.
Yeah, so like there was this like shortbread cookie, dark chocolate shortbread cookie or something like that.
Oh, that sounds good.
And it was cute. Obviously, it would have come from a place like Whole Foods or Trader Joe's, some upscale place like that. And I was just like, girl, give me my Biscoff cookies. I would go back into Maine to get my Biscoff cookies.
I'm not.
I don't even know if they give Biscoff anymore because I was asleep the
They
second.
do. If you're on Delta, they still give a little like
You're on
Biscoffs.
Delta. Here comes the Delta sales
Uh,
rep.
and
Relative pip.
if you play if you play Delta, fight
I
me.
will
Why are you
say I'm usually a Southwest girly, but this time I did fly Delta. And I, let me choose my
Ooh,
words.
yeah, but I watch it. We're sponsored. No, I'm joking. Maybe.
I mean, if we're sponsored,
If we sponsor, get us a corporate card. I'll
corporate.
fly anywhere with a corporate card.
I mean, for the price, I will say I had good leg room. I had good leg room.
But you were in first class. Of course you had good leg
The
room.
second flight, I was not in first class.
And you still had leg room?
I had pretty nice, and also leg room is not that important to me. It's more about the width room,
Mm-mm. Did you have to pay
And
for a bag on the way back?
yes, which they went up. So I haven't flown Delta in probably 4 or 5 years.
There it
So
is.
when I flew Delta 4 or 5 years ago, $25 per bag. Now it's $30 per bag.
Inflation.
You got all the money in the world. You got all these people on American Express. They paying for your Sky Priority. You really that broke for $5 extras for per bag?
I mean,
See, that's why
I'm
I said with my Southwest, two free check bags.
And 2 free carry-on.
but go look at them Southwest prices right now. You come back to me.
No, what I'm waiting for is another Southwest oopsie, so I can get all my flights on real retail.
I'm, you know, yeah, I don't be flying as much as I used to. There was that one year I think it was like last year, undergrad before COVID shut everything down. I was on a flight every weekend, flying here, flying there, everywhere.
Yeah.
It's tiring. Like I sometimes I want to go back and like read like remember all the flights I took for undergrad auditions for masters. Like every single weekend I was on a flight. And some weekends were double flights. Like I would fly somewhere, do the audition that morning, the next morning, and then like fly later that evening to have an audition the next day. Like I did that. I'm like, how much money did I between like flights, Airbnbs or hotels? I think they were mostly Airbnbs though. Um, crazy,
Yeah.
crazy.
I,
Oh,
Out
mm.
here.
But I love catching a flight. But one thing about Texas Music Educator or any MEA conference that I think puts into perspective is our view on what music is. That's the whole point of a music educating conference or any music conference is to kind of have a um, kind of a town hall meeting to see, okay, what are we doing right now? What are the trends? And one school that I saw, they did their last piece was kind of a Whitney Houston ode to Whitney Houston. I Want to Dance with Somebody. It was the Henry Middle School band under Robert Herring's. And they were dancing, they had their little pom-poms. Like it was fun, it was cute. And I just want to take time to just say like, sometimes what we have to do as musicians is not take ourselves so seriously, you know? Like enjoy, we got into this because we enjoy this. Always keep the joy in what we're doing. That I think if that's the most important thing. Yeah, we can get into the weeds, and especially during the season where a lot of music educators are in the festival season. Look, I've been there as a student, as a teacher, at all, and you know, we get real kind of crucial to our students during this time period. And I would like to just have you think about the joy, why you maybe joined music, why your students joined music. I think it's very important.
Yes.
Someone at a conference recently, I think it was at Sphinx, was like, center your work in joy. And I was like, oh, that's a very sweet way. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Like, that's, I don't know. I think I agree with you, especially whenever it comes to conferences and evaluations and competitions. Everyone like forgets a little bit of why they started in the first place, and like the whole thing is, the band directors always say like you're in band because you wanted to, like, play, sound good. It's more fun when you sound good, all these things, yada yada yada. But it's only because we have structured music and music education to be within a system of like, if you don't sound good, if you don't perform a certain way, you're not going to have fun. That's like the real reason behind it. It's the structures of it that is changeable, that we can change, but we're not doing that. Can you imagine if music education was just like exploration, discovery, like finding a new way of creativity and like expressing your creativity versus like, oh, you're doing competitions and that's the real reason why we're doing this?
I'm gonna get a little shady real quick. So you mean what a lot of music ed people think it is and say it is theoretically and
Mm,
write research on, but never actually apply it.
exactly.
Is that what you're saying?
Oh, some might say that is an interpretation. Yes.
Because and here's also another, okay, so a couple things. Hi everybody. Um, my week was good. I spent it in Chattanooga, doing young people's concerts. So that was different because I actually stayed up there. I usually drive back and forth because I got a dog. And so, but anyways, oh, and then I had a great talk with a mentor yesterday that really put some things in perspective and challenged me on some stuff. But also to Anthony's thing, take the craft seriously and don't take yourself seriously. Like always honor the craft, but like you are just a person that just happens. Like every time my kids are like, how we're doing, how's trumpet going? I'm like, I blow in this plumbing and I get paid for it. So life is good. At the end of the day, I blow in plumbing, make noise, and I get paid for it. Like life has to be pretty okay if that's happening.
Yep.
But to what Lauren was saying and what we're kind of going down is like, I feel like a lot of people have these very theoretical ideas of what band is and like, oh, it's so creative. Everybody's so creative and it's going to be exploratory. But then at the end of the day, when it comes to the fall, we got to get ones at marching band. When it comes to spring, we have to get ones at LGPE. Okay, that's cool. How about we just sound better? And again, I'm guilty of it too with my kids when we get close to district honor band, but I'm only guilty of it when my kids say, I want to make district honor band. Cool. You say you want to make district honor band. I can tell you how to get there. And I'm going to be honest with you. If you say, I just want to get better at trumpet, if you get 1% better in the lesson, I'm like, that was amazing. You're doing a great job. But it's like whatever the student tells me they want to do is how I do lessons nowadays. But another thing that kind of grinded my gears, me and one of my friends were talking about this. District honor band list and all state list when they come out. I really wish that private teachers were privy to this knowledge and were able to like tell our kids sometimes, because yes, the band director does do a good amount of work for the private teachers, but also if you're in a big program, likely the band director has not heard their etudes before or has not coached them on certain audition prep stuff. So private teachers are a vital part of band. And I feel like sometimes in at least our state, Georgia, my state, we aren't viewed sometimes not as equally, but as important in terms of those results. It's always like the band. And I'm like, the band is cool, but if someone's been taking private lessons from sixth grade, it's not just the band program. Like if they study with that one teacher, that person has been instrumental in their progress since sixth grade. So also just putting that out there. Even if you're a private teacher, you are very important. Band directors, support your private teachers and push your kids to doing private lessons because they could unlock more things that's not make a district honor band.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I think that private teachers are such a vital part of being a musician in general, because most time private teachers are going to tap into that student way more sometimes than the band director, because the band director, you see hundreds of students. And so you cannot always get to that specific student, especially if they are really serious about being, continuing their instrument to, a competitive style. Like it takes someone who will have that hour lesson with them each week. So you start to learn things of like that. So I think, we need to make sure that our private teachers feel value in our system. When I was also at Team EA, like for all of the groups basically that performs, they have the private teachers that are listed there. And I think that is really, really good to have, to just say, look, we have teachers who invest in our students that are here. And these students go on to do bigger and better things. So we got to put some respect on private teachers on their names, for real, for real.
No, absolutely.
And then another, I know it goes both ways. Private teachers, stop shitting on band directors. Like they're doing the best that they can.
Right.
Like, they have a program to run.
Okay. See, I just got triggered. Another thing, private teachers, I just pumped you up. So what I'm about to say next is some real tease. What I need private teachers to stop doing is believing that they are the band director. I need you to stop having so much ownership over a whole program. Baby, you have students. You have specific instrument students. I know a private teacher, I'm not going to say no names. Oh, hold on now.
I was like, watch it. Don't have to bleep something out.
I know a private teacher who they are very embedded within a system, and this person has rose to some type of fame. And every time I hear about this person or see this person, it is as if they know everything. They are basically the band director. Like they're just like, I don't know how this person is here. I don't know why that thing is happening this way. I don't know why this is doing this. You do one thing. You teach the instrument privately. You are the band director. I actually understand how you know a lot of what's going on, because you're not. You're not. But you have a big opinion on what's happening in bands.
I am very curious now.
I mean, it's your colleague. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, it's like me. Okay, great. Well, Anthony be throwing shade now, but honestly though, like Anthony says that, but I also say like, okay, when you ask your kids what they do in band, ask it to serve your curriculum, not to be like, oh, y'all should be really doing this in band. I don't know why you're not doing this in band. I want you to be a CEO of a band program, order buses, pick out music.
I want you to. I really want you to. And that's the thing. It's like what people don't understand is being a director of something, and this goes if you're a director of orchestra, if you're a director of choir, if you're a director of bands, if you're a director of organization like an opera company or a symphony orchestra, there is so much logistical knowledge that goes behind that. majority of the time, directors spend this much time doing music and this much time doing all the fire putting out stuff. Okay.
Mhm.
So I mean, these people who are helping to realize that there's way more. It's like an iceberg. You see the tip, but there's a whole bunch of stuff below the surface.
Yeah. Well, and you talk about an iceberg. Well, before I'm gonna throw it to Lauren real quick. We talk about an iceberg that gets into another conversation. But Lauren works at the community engagement office at Seattle Symphony, and she probably has a lot more logistical stuff. And she probably doesn't get to focus and enjoy the program until the program is there in her face, aka or just right after, because there you're still trying to put out fires. So like this is goes at every level from community engagement programs that work under and with the Seattle Symphony to like band directors, which is what a lot of people in school typically do. Lauren, did you want to say anything about that?
No, I mean, I usually get to enjoy the programs in post, right? Because like actually, like you do all the logistics of putting on the show, of hiring the people, or working with the students, all these things, and then it's like, oh yeah, like during it, you're handling all the things that you didn't think about, or things that popped up randomly, and all the things. So then afterwards, you're like, did anyone actually see the show? It's like, no, okay,
Right?
well, I guess it went good.
Yeah,
Let's hope.
were there smiles? Okay, okay.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's a balance, right? As is everything. Where for programs, it's for your admin or your directors of bands or your private instructors are all working together in favor of the development and growth of the students, period.
Mhm.
Everyone has their own lanes of where they should interfere, and then you have areas where you're like refer to whoever the talked a lot about the blurred line of, especially when it gets to collegiate areas, and professors like to give their opinions on other professors, and I'm going to say it right now to y'all, it's very unprofessional of you to be talking to your students about other people who are your colleagues and trying to be like, oh, I don't like them, like don't listen to them. Are you crazy?
Mm.
Like, don't that should never ever come out of your mouth that you are discrediting another professor in front of your students. If it is a no, if there's a professor there who is known, who within their faculty, that most people are don't enjoy being around that person, they don't think they should be there, that's fine. Talk to your other collegial your colleagues about that. Don't bring your students into it, because you may think, oh, I'm helping them by giving them my opinion so they know. No, what you're doing is involving them later on when they get a call saying, did your professor say this about Professor so and so? Because now there's a title XYZ123 going on, and now you're involved with it because we heard that you know about it, right?
Correct. Or
Yeah,
with Lauren, don't talk about other students to your students.
no,
If you might have favorites in the studio, that's cool and all. Try not to, because they're all there studying with you. But like, don't be like, well, I wish this person would practice as much as you, or like, I don't know what's really going on with this person and stuff. That is then what we're trying to do, break down pedestals. You've just added pedestals into student life. And they're like, oh, well, I'm better than this person because Professor Brown talks about these other people, or Professor so and so talks about these other people to me. No, don't do that.
Mhm.
All students are students, they're
right,
all learning, and some can give as much as they can give.
right. And you know what? Me as a student is gonna do immediately when you say, "Oh, yeah, I wish this person did this like you." I'm gonna go straight to that person and said, "Professor or Doctor so and so said you suck."
Ooh, so now we got drama. Now we got beef.
Now what? Because why would just stop? Your job is to teach and sometimes do research, work with other colleagues, all these things. But in no way, if you're ever referring to a student or a colleague to a student directly, you are saying it in the sense of, oh, well, I know these things objectively about this person.
Yep.
Now, when you get to certain levels where like master's, doctoral, especially if you were a professor who sees your like doctoral students as collegial, which is normal because a lot of like doctoral students are like, usually older, maybe themselves have like their own families and kids. That's like it is a case by case basis with if you're like, oh, maybe you shouldn't ask them to be on your dissertation committee because I've known them to be on other people's committees and they can, be a little bit that's different. That's not shit talking. That's just being like, based on I want you to be successful based on things I've seen with this person. This is just what my recommendation is. But that doesn't mean, oh, he's lazy. Don't ever ask him to do anything. That's the difference between how you say it. You can just say, actually, I've noticed that he's a little bit of slow with communication on these types of things. So maybe let's find someone else who may be better for you in this situation. That is how you do that.
Correct. But I said I was going to give a great pivot and transition with an iceberg. So picture an iceberg across the ocean. You see the tip? The tip is diversity of composers. Underneath is all the work that goes into it. All the people that you chose to play or chose not to play. The people you did put on a program, didn't put on a program. The people you empower behind closed doors and empower in public. The tip of the iceberg is what goes on a couple of concerts and what gets programmed at that given time. I could add, like, I know I just run a little old bitty trumpet ensemble, and it is hard enough picking what to play because you got like, what can my students sound good on? Sound good, not like, okay, sound good on. What can I teach them without pulling out my hair, which I have none. So I had to really think about that one. And then, what is the audience going to enjoy? And what are we performing this for? What did you say about greased? Anyways, and Anthony has programmed a number of concerts.
I haven't heard that in so long. We used to say that all the time. I'm sorry. Keep going.
Anyways, and Anthony has programmed a number of concerts over across a couple of years for both like picking out the rep he does in college and then what he was teaching at the school he was at. So, Anthony, give us a little bit about this whole diversity thing and why we can view it maybe as an iceberg and maybe as not.
Well, for me, like, I think diversity of programming, it is a personal situation. So for me personally, every program that I do will represent who I am as a person. So that usually means there's going to be some person of color on a program majority of the time. Because guess what? Newsflash, I am Black. I also am largely a person of color as well. So therefore, on all of my programs, that is what is going to be, because that is who I am. That is how I feel as though I can be seen through my music, as well as the people that are in my ensemble. Now, some people have a philosophy of a long-term programming. So say there's 5 concerts between August and May. So you got to look at it at like a longevity standpoint. Like, okay, we have the diversity, it's all mingled through. And there might be a concert where it's all, unfortunately, which not for me now, are all dead white men. That ain't me.
Not me though.
Not me. So, but still, like, you have to sometimes remember that once you put a snapshot on something, people will only take what they see. Like, say you take a picture of your program and you put it on Facebook, and somebody calls you out because you got a whole program of dead white men. Okay, that's what they see. They don't see that for the past 3 concerts, you've had Marie Douglas on there, you've had Kataj, you've had Kate Nishimura, you've had all of these people on there. They don't see that. But they will only see that you had Wagner, you had Beethoven, you had Mozart on just this one program. So you have to be very careful with that. However, what I will not stand for is people that are, there's 2 types of people. There are your people who are like, I'm only going to program music that is good. You have your other people who are like, I think diversity happens so fast in the medium that some bad music is being played.
You just made my eye twitch.
Those are two dangerous people to me. One is I only play good music. We've talked about that on this podcast before because to me that it just sounds. Let me say this. To me, that just sounds racist. When I hear people say that, I'm like, tell me you're racist without telling me you're racist. Because I only play good music. Okay. So all of your music represents one type of people.
Mm.
Like, no, well, it also that tell me you're racist without telling me you're racist. It also tell me that you don't think for yourself.
Mm.
Because this is all the music you learned about when you went to college, when they wrote on stone tablets, and there was only one conductor releasing recordings that we all still do the same take on because we each of us don't have a brain. We just share one brain cell between all people. I'm sorry, that was rude. I apologize for the last statement I made. Anyways, you're just doing what you've been taught and told and what you've seen done at successful band programs. I only play good music.
I only play good music. But then it's like you also have those people who will say that, but then won't even do the work to expand their palettes at all. It's like, oh, I know Hindemith is good, so I'm gonna always play Hindemith. Oh, I know this is good. I'm sure it is good to you and your personal background. Let's just talk about your personal background. Me, growing up in my household, this very caucasity music that people love. First Suite in E flat, any of the folk song legend pieces of England and early American music. Let me just tell you, in my household, that shit would be laughed at. As it was when we performed it in school. My parents, my friends, my family, what is this? What type of music is this? So personal background, and if this is just saying, and very generically, that to me holds no merit. Now, music that I grew up with, music that is like Earth, Wind, and Fire, Stevie Wonder, all of this, that is music of merit.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Quincy Jones, music of merit.
They be playing too.
And it's funny because I was actually having a conversation with Reed Douglas a couple of nights ago about how a lot of the styles that we played, Black artists in Earth, Wind, and Fire, and Stevie Wonder's music, if you were to put those techniques into your classical idioms, it's like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. What is this? But music has no merit. So I need us to define merit. I need us to define what all these extra terms are to try to other types of music.
I'm gonna just put this out there before I think because Lauren, it looks like she got something to say. I was asked once upon a time to play the Earth, Wind, and Fire. September. Baby, that shit is hard. Like, hard. Like, it didn't come out like it was supposed to. I try my best. And I remember that when the person asked me, I said, there is other people at this school that can play it way better than me. Because this ain't me. I can't do that. I don't like playing fast notes and moving fast. I am a big person. I like moving slow. I like slow and lyrical. Now, if you put me on a ballad every day, fast notes. So, anyways, Lauren.
statement Anthony made of the perspective of I only play good music is the lamest excuse for your own lack of personal interpretation of what music really can be and
Mm,
what art can be just in general. I lose respect, I truly do, for anyone who walks up to me and genuinely says, I only play good music.
mm,
Because as the way Anthony just laid it out to us, in my household, James Brown was on. The
mm,
Supremes were on. That's gospel music was around me. So
mm,
I grew up with like, this is good. This is what I know. This is my background. These things make sense to me. Therefore, they're lovely.
mm,
But you know, also what happened as I went through school? I learned other types of music. I
mm,
learned African drumming. I learned classical music and other musicians within classical music. And I was like, you know what? I can understand this as well. And I'm going to also expand what I enjoy, the music that I enjoy, right? What annoys me is how these musicians and so-called educators, they say, oh, the Bachs, the Mozarts, the Beethovens, the Coplands, the Husas, the whoever you want to add to that list. This is good music. And then they, in the same breath, say that whenever you bring diversity into it, the quality goes down. There have been, if you jump on, go to music theory Twitter. There's an amazing book, Black Sound, that's out, and I'm gonna remember his name in a second, but amazing music like theorist talking about how what is considered good classical, good music in general is based on principles that are from the white, centralized, and dominated perspective of music. So obviously, a system that is centered in whiteness and Europe, can I add Europeanism within that, of course, it's going to say all the white European music is good. That's literally what the system was built for. But you go to other countries and ask them, they put on their music, you get some bamba. You know what I mean? You get their traditional music that they're like, this is our music. This is from our people, our land. And they're like, oh, this is good to me. This is good music. I like this. This is good. But then you maybe show them something else. And maybe some people are like, oh, I'm not interested in Beethoven. They're like, oh, that's you know what I mean? And they're like, oh, I don't really want to listen to that. I want to listen to this music. It's such a privileged mindset, and it's like I want to get angry about it, but I can't even get angry about it anymore because you have given up on any more development for yourself and for your students if you're just like, I only play good music. Well, that's sad. I'm sad for you. I'm sad for any student who comes through your doors, who sits in the chairs in front of you. I am sad for them because you are doing them a disservice. You barely can call yourself an educator. Not sure what you can call yourself, but it, it's we need less of that. And soon, a lot of these people are going to be out of the field. So if you are a young educator and this is resonating with you and you're like, you know what? Okay, get ready because systems can change slowly but surely, right? We got to put in some work to make it happen, but we can change that because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of having these conversations. Like, stop it. Stop. Let's talk
Correct.
about something else.
yeah.
Um, real quick, Lauren, are you talking about Matthew D. Morrison
Yes, Matthew D. Morrison. Yes, Black Sound.
making race and popular music in the United States? If
That.
you, it is only like $25. I would recommend buying it if it's exactly what Lauren says it is. But like, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Anthony, but also like you could use people discredit other types of music, non-Western music. That term, I just hate it. I don't know why I don't like it. Like when I have like class, this is what we consider non-Western music. Professor Brown, what is that? mean? Everything that's not Europe and America. Like, I'm just like, I hate having to say it, but like, hey, your kids are struggling feeling the groove of the march. Have you ever got them to listen to a samba and move to it? Or and Lawrence brought up African drumming. Have you ever got them to just listen to African drumming and walk around the room to see if they can feel the groove? I think Baroque has a great groove and function to it, and improvisation, aka ornamentation. I think it's all like I view Baroque as like the classical jazz, and I might be just crazy thinking that because like I view it deeper than the music. I go into the groove and the ornamentation of it. But if you can't feel a groove on jazz, you will never find the groove in Baroque music because you're not looking deep enough into it. Like there's all these other musics, we call it other music, all this music of the world, music that surrounds us, popular culture that informs some of our friend composers, Marie Douglas, Kevin Day, Katash Copley, like Kate Nishimura, like all this music can help us do all the other things that you struggle with in your band program, but you can't play a Carl King march because they can't feel the groove. Well, have they witnessed any of this other music? In our only music class, typically in high school, besides band and orchestra, or choir and orchestra. Like, discuss more things than just band sometimes. We have 5 days a week, typically. And if you're on A B block, then you got to really think about it.
Yeah, I think one with this about our music choices, the sentiment of doing diverse music or diversity is happening too fast. What are you saying by that?
Mm.
Oh, it just came, it was a fad. It just came by so quickly. And so we'll see what it's like in however many years. Guess what? Last time I checked, Black people are not leaving, Asian people aren't leaving, Hispanic people aren't leaving. All these people, that music has already been written forever and ever, but you just decided you wasn't gonna play it because it didn't look like a dead white man. Guess what? It's not leaving. Diversity is not leaving. What you find fast, to me, is very slow. There is the positionality of that. Because to me, I'm like, why the hell did it take until 2016 when things really started getting shook around about race politics within the US structure for music to be refound? Like, oh my gosh, there's Florence Price, there's William Dawson, there's all these people. What? This music existed for over 100 years, and now you're like, oh, it's too fast. That is very, very heinous to me.
This is the perfect wrap of Michael's the imagery of an iceberg that we always see is about perspective. And this is exactly what this conversation has turned into is like is perspective. And just like an iceberg, you see the tip, it looks so small, then you look underneath it and you're like, oh my gosh, there's so much here. I had no idea. Diversity can look very different to everyone, right? It can. That is just truth, right? Because everyone's perspective of what they see is different. My perspective, Michael's, Anthony's, yours, like our perspectives can be very different. The issue is when you only think from your perspective. That's the issue, is when you close up to anyone else's. Because to really understand other people and to connect with people, you have to think about their perspectives. If you're only connecting with people from your own perspective, then of course you're going to be seeing the same things. And then sometimes there's reasons for that. There's a good thing for that. That's not a bad thing. The issue is when you only think, see, and seek perspectives that exactly match yours. Even if it's a perspective you don't agree with, you have to know what other people are thinking out there to argue against it, to fight against it, right? How can you fight someone you don't even know what they're fighting for? How do you combat them if you don't understand the reasoning as to why they're fighting for this specific thing? So that's the biggest thing for me is with this idea of good music, people stop thinking about other people's perspectives. Well, I grew up with this, so this is what I know. That's fine. Let's maybe expand that a little bit more. So maybe you know other styles of music. You get more familiar with it. Therefore, later on, when you hear another piece that has similar characteristics, you're like, oh, actually, this one is more up my alley. I like this one. You know what I mean? That's what it's supposed to be. You're not supposed to immediately like different things. No, I don't think when I first tried kimchi or sushi, I was like, this is very odd. I don't like this. And now anytime I see sushi, I want it. Anytime I see kimchi, I want it because I had to build up to it. It wasn't an immediate thing. And I don't think sometimes it is. Sometimes you have something for the first time, you're like, where has this been all my life? This is exactly what I've wanted. Other times you need a few different, maybe you need to experience it with a certain person. You need a sauce that goes with it. You need it in tandem with something else. And people give up too quickly. You give up too quickly. Keep going. Just try. And then if you find out, actually, I really just don't like sushi, that's okay. But don't shit on other people who like sushi.
I can respect a person because you've tried it. You can actually say, I have done this and I've realized that it just doesn't fit me. And it wasn't just a one time. And let's talk about when you try something, but you already have your mind made up, you don't like it.
Notions, preconceived notions.
You are going to then just continue to tell yourself you don't like it. You didn't even try. I mean, you maybe put it in your mouth to eat it, but you already told yourself you don't like it. Same thing with music. You already said, oh, I'm not going to like this piece because of this, and this, and this. Then you actually go through the 3 months to maybe get the piece done together. And then at the end, oh, my kids didn't like it. I didn't like it, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? That's because they feed off of you. They knew you didn't like that piece. So, of course, they didn't like it. You didn't like teaching it because you didn't actually give it your full value time to actually understand it. So now you feel as though you have all of this ample amount of evidence to prove that you don't like it, but you didn't actually try. You did something that is very superficial. You was like, oh, well, look, I did it. That doesn't mean anything to me. Means nothing. And before we go, I wanted to just bring something home about merit. Let's take the Grammys. Okay.
Ooh.
Let's take the Grammys. Let's take was it Song of the Year or album of the year or whatever. So one of them, I forget which one, but Taylor Swift won. But obviously the song that a lot of people knew more was Snooze by SZA. And a lot of people, that was the song, that was like the song that people really knew. Now to a Taylor Swift fan, that song holds merit. To someone else that is not a Taylor Swift fan, it holds no merit whatsoever. I love SZA. I love Snooze. That song to me would have definitely been the song of the year. It was TikTok to YouTube to Apple, anywhere.
Yeah, because I know Taylor Swift won album of the year, and I know a lot of people thought that SOS, which is SZA's full album, they were thinking they were thinking it was actually going to be that. I think for song of the year, I want to say was it actually like Snooze or best R? She got best R&B song of the year. Oh no, it was Billie Eilish, which honestly that was a great song. I kind of love Billie.
So it was album of the year.
It was album of the year.
Album of the year of like, okay, Taylor says which one is more popular, but depending on which aisle you're on, you would see one album or the other having more merit.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. There isn't a rubric. And some people might actually say there is a rubric. But as Lauren said something earlier, how the system was based off of European attributes. So which one of those sound more European?
And the thing about it, the truth is 1000%, because we definitely just talked about that. And the systems that are created, if we're going to see actual change, it's going to take time. But at the same time, while at the same time we can say perspectives, yes, people are like, Taylor Swift deserved that for X, Y, Z, and Z and Z. Maybe. But also we can say that and also criticize systems that have for a very long time historically left out people of color, women, especially Black women, and shown Beyonce. That was a huge thing that happened with Jay-Z bringing that up. So both things can happen. And I think award ceremonies in general are so many opinions. Because yay to the people like Imani and all these amazing Julia Bullock and all these fabulous people who are getting their flowers as they deserve 1000%, and we can congratulate them and still critique the system. I think that is how we move forward, right? Because if we're not building our own, if we are joining in with the systems that are currently here, there's going to be that resistance. But we got to keep moving forward at the same time. Critique, celebrate, critique.
And on that note, we would say keep driving it, keep making sure that the right conversations are had, no matter what you think diversity is going to be here, because we belong to have our music heard just as much. And I think what we do here at Relative Pitch, we're changing minds one person at a time. So you get to hear our different perspective, our different positionalities, and our different mindsets on these things. So we just want to say thank you for listening to another episode, and we shall see you next week.
Bye-bye.